The views expressed on this program do not belong to LSU, the Manship School, Tiger TV, Mike the Tiger, or any other being. They are the absurd creation of writer and host Travis Cobb, so sue him, lawyers. Howdy, and welcome to the update. Hello and welcome to the update. I'm Travis Cobb. There's a lot to talk about on the show today. Almost all of it has to do with the government shutdown. Wait, that's still a thing? My attention span does not last this long for anything. It's a struggle to write all of this without drifting off into talking about something completely unrelated. TV show hosts these days, am I right? Okay, where were we? Oh, right, shutdown. Okay, so how much longer do we have to go?
I think, as pessimistic as I am about a resolution this weekend, I think it'd be better for members to stay in case a miracle happens. But it would take a miracle.
It would take a miracle.
That's reassuring to hear. Problem solving, solutions, compromises, listening to people who disagree with you. That now replaces what we used to call a miracle. This seems fun. I want in on changing words and their meanings. Standoff is now a basic government function. Non-existent now means approval ratings for congressional members. Interestingly enough, non-existent also means ratings for the update. Hey, wait a second, who put that in there? All right. Okay, while we're entering new worlds with new words, remember, there's still the same old rhetoric coming from the architects of the shutdown.
And I have to tell you, Obamacare is really, I think, the worst thing that has happened in this nation since slavery.
See, just the same old, he said, she said. Wait, what? The worst thing since slavery? I'm not even going to address the blatant stupidity of that statement by rattling off a list of things, of all the things that have happened that are worse since slavery. We'd be here all day and all night, basically until the government comes back. Look, making Obamacare out to be some sort of monstrosity tests well at the Values Voters Summit, but polarizing yourselves from the center right and center left of the country didn't work well in 2012, and it can only continue to hurt you. Just ask a man involved in the war on Vietnam, which was worse than Obamacare, by the way. Oh, he also was a Republican nominee for president.
I guess we can get lower in the polls. We're down to blood relatives and paid staffers now. I mean, but we've got to turn.
Relatives and paid staffers? That sounds like my audience. Okay, seriously, who is messing with my prompter? The Maverick telling both parties things have got to change. Oh, old storylines, how I've missed you. You know what would really turn everything around for both parties? Solving this. Shocking, right? Because the alternative is more people becoming disassociated with your message, and that's no good for either party.
We're in a free fall as Republicans, but Democrats are not far behind, and after listening to all of us talk now, I probably understand why 60% of Americans want to vote all incumbents out. To my colleagues in the House on both sides and to my friends in the Senate, we're ruining both institutions.
And that would be good for no one. To get a more moderate approach to governing, we're going to have to get more moderate words from the right. You're the ones who want to fight the Affordable Care Act and actually win. Use logic, not campaign buzzwords. Then maybe we can get this government and your ratings, which I know you love, back to existent. Otherwise, we're all shut out of luck. Coming up next, Missing the Mark is going to the park. Less rhymes, hopefully, after the break.
I'm Travis Cobb, host of The Update, and you're watching The Update on Tiger TV.
Someone teach that poor guy how to read. Welcome back to The Update. We've heard a lot about all of the different effects that the government shutdown has had. This week's Missing the Mark, we're looking at the most prominent of those effects, the national parks. Yes, from war memorials to Mount Rushmore, the parks went through the shutdown. Some reopening, even though the rest of the government is not. They've been a sort of symbol of this government impasse. Though non-essential, they're still important to reminding Americans of the functionality of their country, even if their government is in disarray. When was the last time you could say that wasn't the case? While these parks are important to reopen, they aren't the most important. But hey, let's ask someone who shut down her own power in state government before her time was up.
You look around, though. and you see these barricades, and you have to ask yourself, is this any way that a commander-in-chief would show his respect, his gratitude to our military? This is a matter of shutdown priority.
You know, I'm glad she brought that up. Yes, it's a shame that the government shutdown has taken a very symbol of patriotism, closed it off. This isn't the president's shutdown, though. The House and Senate are supposed to get the budget across, and the House decided, hey, this Obamacare is no good. Let's shut the whole operation down until we get our way. Because that worked so well the first 42 times they tried to repeal it, and will continue to work the next 587 they try it. But there's so many worse things that have been closed off because of this shutdown. 17-year-old Austin Trowbridge is fighting a rare genetic disorder, and this shutdown is in the way.
Now, with the disease that I have, hasn't progressed too far yet. It's still early in its stage.
And it's hoped science can keep the disease at bay through an experimental protocol involving a critical bone marrow transplant offered through the National Institutes of Health, a treatment being delayed until the government reopens.
It was really upsetting to hear because it's just a lot less risky to have the procedure done earlier.
If that's not the government getting in the way of people's health, I don't know what is. I guess it's more important to fight people's health care than for people's health. What really gets me, though, aside from all this, is the posturing for veterans that politicians do, and then neglect to follow through for them.
Went on to graduate from college determined to make it, believing the government's promise that his wartime service meant his VA disability check would always be there. But he's been unemployed for 5 months. Now, that check is his only source of income.
If the shutdown goes past October 15th, the VA has said that they will be unable to process payments for 1 November, when most of my bills come due.
What does that mean to you? What happens?
I go broke.
If you're going to win votes because you tell the people you support the troops more, that's your thing. But that's also a promise you break when the government can stop providing services to its people on a dime. While you're trying to pin blame on the president for memorials being closed, I hope you remember who threw the fit that closed off help for sick people in the military. There's news today that the government shutdown could almost be at an end. And sure, most people didn't feel a day-to-day effect. But to put your line in the sand with memorials and parks is to neglect the fact that people were and still can actually be hurt by this. And that's missing the mark. When we come back, a shift in gears, a heartening tale of unexpected help for those affected by the shutdown. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the update. We've had a lot of discussion about how the government shutdown has hurt so many people, how our politics seem to be broken. But there's hope out there. The American people aren't all as slow-moving and dysfunctional as their government.
Ladies need a little bit to look over the menus.
It was a typical Wednesday afternoon shift for Sarah Hoydell at the Ruby Tuesday in Concord when 2 service members came in for lunch and sat in her section.
You know, they were looking through the menu and they were trying to decide what to get, and she had mentioned something about the furlough, you know, we're not getting paid, and I was like, oh geez.
Sarah, a single mother of a 15-month-old boy, says she knows how difficult it can be to make ends meet.
But just thinking to myself, you know, that must really be difficult. Just because the income stops doesn't mean the bills do.
So Sarah decided to pick up their tab, adding this note on the back of their check, expressing her gratitude for their service.
I was just thinking to myself, and I was like, you know, I'm going to buy their food today. Good karma, do something nice for someone else.
Sarah says the reaction she got from the Guard members was more than she expected.
I came out and they were out front waiting for me, and they instantly just came up and said Sarah, and they hugged me. And just their reaction was worth everything. It was like I did this huge thing, and I was like, I just bought you lunch, but thank you.
News of the kind gesture quickly spread online. The New Hampshire National Guard posted a picture of Sarah and a copy of her note on their Facebook page. The response, she says, was overwhelming.
I think the most moving thing I saw on Facebook was people saying that there should be more people like me in the world. That really got to me.
Sarah says she has friends who have served in the military and her boyfriend is a Marine. She admires what they do for us and says this is the least she could do for them.
I mean, they protect this country, they protect citizens like me, and a nice thing to do.
There's been a lot of finger pointing and blame game playing. And with no real winners to this point, you have to wonder just how long we can continue letting hyperpartisan politics rule the day. This story tells me someone recognizes the true issue at hand when talking about fixing things. There's a lack of kind acts that extend beyond politics but can still remain political. Anytime I'm in a political discussion, it's not dominated by bickering, but by, get this, an actual conversation. My friends who disagree with me are still my friends, and sometimes we help each other see a side to an issue that we hadn't considered before. I understand people in Washington will say they weren't elected to be buddy-buddy with people of the opposite side, but they weren't elected for this. Thanks for joining us this week. If you want more of The Update, follow us on Twitter at @TTV_update. Check out the full episode here you saw today, or hey, you can check out ones from the past. They're all really good. Or you can check out any clip from this show you like. You like all of them, right? That's good. What a relief. They will be online at tigertv.tv. And I will be back next week, so don't you worry. And as always, remember to go update yourself.